if you're my student, I will advise you to do both. Apply for PhD, apply for masters. When the admissions come, then you decide. Hello. Welcome to this session, and today I will be speaking to you if you're looking to do PhD abroad. All right, if you're looking to do your doctorate studies, this video is for you. All right, hear me out, and then you are going to decide what to do next after this. First of all, who can do PhD? You know what? I'm going to actually give you an idea of what we're going to cover in this video before I get started. So we're going to talk about who can do PhD, who should do PhD. You know, I know you are thinking of doing PhD, but should you do PhD? We're going to talk about what is the alternative for you if you want to do PhD. Then what is the hidden alternative for you if you want to do PhD? Then, you know, we're going to talk about PhD and family relocation. We're going to talk about the role of vantage migration and how vantage migration can help people looking for PhD. Then we're going to take some question and answers. Hello. So if you have questions, prepare it, especially if you're watching this live. If you're watching this as a replay, I will tell you what to do and where to ask us questions. Is that good? Is that good? So before we get started, my name is Dr. Linda Iheme, okay? I'm an educational consultant with Vantage Migration. Myself and my team, we train professionals who want to relocate abroad on how to do that successfully through the study abroad route. Now, we have people who go who relocate for their PhD or through the PhD route. And today, we just want to make this video for you. If you are looking to relocate abroad through study abroad route and you're thinking of going for PhD. All right. So the first thing I want to say is that, you know what? Let's start by saying, what is PhD? You know, sometimes you're just talking. You don't even know that there is somebody right now watching this video and the person like, what's PhD? You know, you first start saying, okay, who can do PhD? So PhD means it is another way to say doctorate. If you want to do your doctorate studies, right? Meaning like PhD is the highest like educational standard right now, right? I'm trying to look for a way to explain it. Usually people do it maybe after their masters. That's the next level. The way you do secondary school after your primary school, right? That's the way they do PhD. So I'm giving that layman definition of PhD for the sake of those that don't know what PhD is. Now let's go to who can do PhD. So PhD can be done by anyone, anyone who wants to do PhD. You know why I said that? If you're a graduate and you want to do PhD, you can do it. It's just that there are countries that allow you to do PhD with BSc, and there are a lot of countries, 90% of the countries will not allow you to do PhD with BSc, but some will, right? US is a good example. Then, but generally, PhD is done after you have finished your master's. So people who can do PhD are people who have already done their master's and they want to climb further. They want to climb further, all right, in their studies. And I want you to, thank you so much, Mariella. Okay, I want you to know that when it comes to doing PhD, the fact that you can do PhD, you have finished your masters. You know, it looks like the next thing is PhD. You have BSc, you probably have second class, upper, or first class, and you feel like, you know what, with this I can do PhD. The question is, should you do PhD? So the fact that you can do PhD does not mean you should do PhD. So who should do PhD? PhD is not just for fun. It's not just for you to grab another certificate and put it under your armpits. You understand? That's not the reason for PhD. So number one reason people do PhD is to be able to lead research. So, for example, it's difficult for you to be leader of a research, or what they call PI, like principal investigator, if you don't have PhD. Because PhD generally trains you, amongst other things, on how to do research. Very, very well, how to be a leader in research. So if you're this kind of person that you're like, sister, brother, if you give me research like this, I'll eat it like this, or I want to be a researcher, this, that, PhD is likely for you, okay? Then you should do PhD. The other people who do PhD is people who want to be lecturers. I'm gonna break your bubbles. And you know what? When I was looking for PhD, I applied to University of Waterloo. I applied to University of Toronto. The professor I secured at University of Toronto actually gave me this advice, because he gave me a call and he was like, Linda, why do you want to do PhD? So let me tell you what I told you, and let me tell you what he told me. So I told you, I said, I was, apart from the research, I was going on and on how I want to be a lecturer, how I want to be able to teach, all the lecturing, all the teaching certifications I've done, because I really love teaching. I'm telling you, this happened for real. So the professor said to me, he said, after I finished everything, he said, well, because before, while we were talking, he has accepted it, but I needed to come and defend. Like, I needed to come and present in front of a panel for the school to also know whether I'm capable or not. So the professor said to me, well, I understand you, but for the sake of this your defense coming up, where you have to defend whether you will be a PhD student at University of Toronto or not, for the sake, I will advise that you focus on research. He said, because if you want to teach in universities abroad, you can do that with masters. All right, that was what the professor told me. You can do that with masters. You don't need a PhD to do that. But if you're doing PhD, it's majorly for the research. So now, I know that many people who want to be lecturers, who want to be professors in universities, want to do PhD. My own opinion is that if you want to be a lecturer, do the PhD. You know why I say that? You can lecture with masters. But I believe that if you have PhD, you'll be able to climb to the peak of your career. I'm somebody who always loves to, I don't ever want to be in a place where I am disadvantaged. Tomorrow now, if they now say who can be the head of department, you can no longer be you because you don't have PhD or something, right? So if you don't want to work in the university setting, whether you are leading research or you are lecturing, note that you can do lecturing with masters. But it may pay you to get a PhD so that you stand out. Now, the other people that want to do a PhD is people who want to relocate. They want to relocate through the study abroad route, right? And they just feel like, well, I have my master's already. I should just apply for PhD. That's the next thing to apply for. So these people, maybe what they'll do with the PhD is not really their main goal, but what you're going to get because of their doing that PhD abroad, which is very, very okay. So now, if you look at it, we know that who can do PhD. If you have your BSc, you want to do PhD, or you have most likely, or more commonly, if you have your master's, the next is PhD. But the fact that you have those things doesn't mean you should be applying for PhD. You have to ask yourself, do you really need PhD? Okay. Now, having said that, I want to tell you something very unique about PhD. It's not as if I did any research on this, but more than 90% of PhDs are fully funded. PhD is like work. All right, you work with a professor, you are doing research, you're working for the organization. PhD is like work. I will not advise you to take a PhD that is not funded or that they're not paying you. So most PhDs, they will pay you, they'll give you funding, they'll give you scholarship. So if you see somebody telling you, come and do PhD 3 years, 4 years, because it's long, right? The length of PhD is 3, 4, 5 years on the average, and you can spend more. If somebody come and do PhD, we're not giving you scholarship, we're not giving you funding, run. Let me tell you 2 reasons why you should run. Number 1 is abuse. Because you're going to be doing PhD, it's like working for somebody for 4 years without getting paid. It's the highest form of abuse in workplace, right? With your normal sense, you will not accept something like that. So why will you accept it? Because you are desperate. Don't. The second one is that if they say come and do PhD and they're not funding you, what does that mean? that department does not have funding. I'll call it funding, but when I say funding, I'm talking of scholarship, okay? But that department does not have funding. That department does not have scholarship. What does it tell you? That means they're not doing powerful research. Because if you're doing powerful research, you will have money. Like government establishment will give you money, right? Because they want you to do the research. So if the department does not have money, it means that they're not doing good work in research. So if you accept it, what do you mean? Or maybe your professor is a new professor, he doesn't know anything. Or even his research skills are so poor, he can't attract funding, right? Now, he takes you on as a student. His bad luck will follow you. Think about it, it's like I'm bad. I don't know anything about study abroad. Then you go and tell somebody I trained you. You have just carried base on your head because they'll just be, that woman, we don't know anything. Now she train you. That means you too, you don't know anything. Do you get my point? So if a department does not have funding for PhD, it tells you so much more, minus the money part. It tells you that they are doing quiet work. It tells you that your professor is not good at his job. It tells you that the department, maybe it's a new department. Maybe if you go there, instead of spending 3 or 4 years, you may spend 7 years before you graduate. Do you see? So apart from the fact that a non-funded PhD is abused because you're going to be working 4 years, 5 years, 3 years without getting paid, which no normal person is going to accept that, right? Apart from that, them not having money tells you so much more. Tells you that it is nonsense that is happening in that place. Tells you that you're going to be a guinea pig for them. Maybe they just want to test it out and see if they can handle PhD. They will say, come. If you don't want to get paid, come. Don't accept something like that if you like your life. Because you can go there, you may never graduate. You may take years to graduate. After you graduate, your certificate may not be honored, or like people will not respect you. They can't link you to jobs. Why the hell do you want to spend 3, 4, 5 years in a place like that? Come on, have respect for yourself, right? So, PhDs are usually funded. If a PhD is not funded, if they give you PhD admission without funding, run. Run like something is pursuing you. Run like something is pursuing you, because something is really pursuing you. Else, you're in trouble. Okay, now, what is the alternative? So, let's say you have your master's. The next thing is PhD, right? But then you look at it, you don't want to do research. You don't want to teach in the university. In fact, you just want a good job so that, this is the kind of life you wish. Do you know you can do another master's? Do you know you can even do a PGD as a form of specialization? These are options. These are some of the things we show you exactly how to do advantage migration. We show you the alternatives for PhD. But it's not just by telling you we'll show you how to get about it, and you'll be able to ask more questions. You'll be able to understand how it actually works, because it's also tricky. If you have your master's, you just go and apply for another master. You can just get visa denial. You have to be able to craft a connection while you are doing what you are doing, one way or the other. So these are where Vantage Migration now comes in. So that's why I always advise that you can attend our free webinar at www.vantagemigration.ca. Okay, you can take a screenshot, www.vantagemigration.ca, and then you know exactly how to proceed. But apart from that, let's go to I've already told you, you have alternative. If you see that you are not the type of person into research, into lecturing, there are ways. You mustn't apply for PhD. There are alternatives, okay? You can do another master's, carefully selected. You can do a PGD, postgraduate diploma, carefully selected. Don't just say, Dr. Linda says you can do PGD. Then you go and apply for PGD today. If you get visa denial, don't quote me. Carefully selected. There are things to put in place before making that selection. You have to put your story together. If not, you'll be toast. All right. Now, what else can you do? What else can you do? I want you to know that there are other alternatives as well, and these alternatives include the hidden alternatives, right? Your spouse. A lot of PhD people are married, and they have spouses who don't have PhD. Sorry. A lot of people who are going for PhD are like married people, professionals, and they have spouses. Let's say that your spouse have BSc, you have masters. You're thinking of, oh, it's PhD I want to apply for. But your spouse who has BSc can apply for masters, right? Why you follow them and you just start working abroad with your masters? Do you get what I mean? So understand that. Always keep in mind that you can leverage on your spouse. It's teamwork, right? You can leverage on your spouse. Keep that in mind. So it's a hidden alternative that not a lot of people remember to explore. Okay? So now, I want you to also know that in addition to leveraging on your spouse, applying for PhD or study abroad is a legit way to relocate with your family. So I know people that will be like, okay, even recently, we had somebody that had got full scholarship PhD, a woman, Rashidat. I posted her stuff on my social media. If you scroll back well enough, you're going to see it. So Rashidat got full scholarship PhD, right? As I told you, PhD is usually fully funded. And then she got her visa. She was going to US precisely. She got her visa, her husband and 2 kids. Okay? So you can use PhD, like applying for PhD, I'm going for PhD studies. You can use it as a legit relocation plan for your family. Keep that in mind. And the question is, what's the role of Vantage Migration for people who want to relocate abroad and they want to do their PhD? We can train you on what to do. Now, if you're going for PhD, there are things to put in place. You need a supervisor. Hello? You need a supervisor. How do you get one? Where do you find one? What do you say to them when you find them? What school? What this? What that? Oh, they say I should send this document. There are a lot to put together. Do you really want to go on this journey alone? I know that from time to time I will post scholarship opportunities on my wall, but my dear, instead of you looking for breadcrumbs, you can actually get trained by Vantage Migration. You know exactly what to do. You know exactly the programs to look out for. You know this, you know that, you know that, you know that. And then you can do everything by yourself. Do you really want to go on this journey alone? That's the question I'm asking you. That's why I always say, start by attending our free webinar to know how to work with us. Because Vantage Migration, like if you look at, I don't know if you have noticed. Have you noticed that there are rarely any study abroad company out there who successfully work with PhD graduate people going for PhD? Hello, do you know what I'm talking about? There is hardly any study abroad company who is working with people going for PhD. True or false? Have you seen one? We are those going for PhDs. Show yourself. Show yourself. Your face, show your shoes shine. Show yourself. There are hardly study abroad companies. Why do you think that's the case? Because of the nitty-gritty. It's not straightforward. It's not straightforward. It's not straightforward. And I am blessed to have gone through the process, applied for PhD, gotten PhD full scholarship, right? And so I can educate you on that. That's why our company is blessed to be able to incorporate assisting PhD people. Okay? There are rarely companies out there assisting people going for PhD. If you are going for PhD, full scholarship, you can get it. Supervisor, you need one. This, that, there are so many things. Get trained. I advise you get trained, because if you are not trained, you can be on that journey for 2 years, 3 years, and nothing will still happen. And you'll be like, it's so difficult to get PhD, but maybe you're not checking the right places, or you're just hoping that one day somebody is going to post a scholarship you apply for. But sitting and folding hands and waiting, is it a strategy? Is it a strategy? Even if it's a strategy, is that your best? Is that the best you can do? It's not the best you can do, my dear. So I'm going to ask you, please, if you are here watching me, you are thinking of going for PhD, please, can you drop a question for me? Because I believe that By the time I can answer 10 people's question here and there, I will have touched on so many things that you are looking for. Like now, somebody said, unfortunately, Precious, this is Precious saying, unfortunately, most Canadian universities don't offer fisheries and aquaculture or very closely related PhD. Is a lie from the pit of hell. You don't know how to do the search, my dear. First, you don't know your programs of best fits. 2, you don't know how to do the search. That's what's worrying you. Get trained. All these lies you feed yourself. No school is offering my course. That's why you are not relocating abroad. Is that your reason? Is that your reason? Is that your reason, my dear? Even she have typed. I'm sure somebody else is there. The school, no school offer engineer. Wait. It's a lie. It's a lie. Feed yourself that lie and be comfortable because you're not ready to take action. Get trained. Get trained. Get trained. That's the way forward. You don't know. It's okay. You learn. That's the next thing, all right? But you don't know. It's okay. But you cannot learn. That one, no. Nah. Somebody say, praise. I say, Mama, calm down. I am calm, my dear. Now you want to do the PhD. Now you within your one help. There is nothing calm about it. If you want be coming down there, how many years more do you want to spend? You say calm down. Woo! Just helping you and saying it in a way that it will pierce your soul so that you know exactly what to do. That you're just sitting around and wasting time. There's no university. Let's look at the next person. Someone said, I want to apply for PhD in biology. That's really good. Biology is one good place to get PhD because they do a lot of research. And I was asked to show proof of I had to pause. Oh God, can you see the things keeping a lot of people going for PhD? They don't know the course to apply for. They don't, even when they know the course or when they think they know the course, they don't know how to apply for it. Who can teach them? Vantage migration. You see? Number 2, this one say it was about applying. They say show proof of funds. What that means is that what? This person did not get supervisor. Gabriel, did you get supervisor? Confess here and now. Let the devil be ashamed. Did you get supervisor before applying to that school? No. I want to still see you type your answer with your own hand. Because that's how you will remember that, hey, Dr. Linda said this thing. The proof of funds you need is a supervisor. That is what they are. It's like somebody is speaking language, but you don't understand it. So when you get trained on how to do study abroad stuff, when you get what happens is it's like learning a new language. When somebody is talking, you can understand them. Okay, let me show you something now. What can you comment and you don't understand what I'm saying, right? Why? You don't know the language. Anyway, I just made that up. But you get what you get my point? It's a language, probably, or I don't know which language. But you don't understand it. Because you don't understand, you won't know what I'm saying. You won't know what I'm saying. Proof of funds. I told you, PhD is usually funded, For you to get the funding, you need supervisor. That's one thing you have to know. For how do you get supervisor? Where? How? Who? What do you say to me? So you're not supposed to bring money from your pockets. So can't you see there's a missing link there? What you are thinking and how it works, they are two different things. Get trained. Even though some people will not agree to get trained, it's important for you to know that you need training. If you are going for PhD, I have asked you, have you seen any company working with people going for PhD? Have you seen? I've not seen. If you have seen, educate me. I've not seen. Because how many people that run such companies have had the opportunity to apply and get full funded PhD abroad? That's what you have to ask yourself. You have to learn how it works. So please don't misunderstand me. When I'm taking these questions and I'm striking those people, it does not mean that if I hate them, I won't be here, right? But it's like I'm trying to open your eyes, like, hey, can't you see what's going on here? All right. Someone said, I really wish to apply for PhD in public administration, but I would love US or Canada. Okay, that's fine. So what is stopping you from starting? That's what I want to know. What is stopping you from starting? Tell me more. Tell me more. Let's see the next question. Someone said, why are you not talking about MBA? MBA is Masters in Business Administration. What question do you, Victor, what question do you have about MBA? Let's see. Someone said, Fumilayo said, I already have Masters in Food Science and Technology from University of Ibadan. I want to relocate via study abroad pathway. Would you advise me to go for PhD in the same or similar course, or you advise I go for another Masters? Both of them are good options. In fact, if you're my student, I will advise you to do both. Apply for PhD, apply for Masters. When the admissions come, then you decide. Do you see? When the admissions come, you decide. Apply for both. When the admissions come, you decide. All right? Let's see more questions. PhD in Peace and Conflict Resolution in Canada. What's the question? Gideon, what's the question? What's your question? Please don't just make a call. Ask question. No. Okay. Question. Precious was saying, I'm interested in getting trained. Precious, go to www.vantagemigration.ca to start with our free study abroad webinar. That's how to start, okay? Let's look at more questions. Madotan is here laughing at me. Somebody said, I want to go for School of Midwifery and Nursing. No money to continue. Are you talking about the people going for PhD that we're talking about? I don't think we are. Blessing, I don't think you're talking about. Modi Sarah said, is this your true account? What does that mean? I don't know. Like, Modi Sarah, your question is off point. Okay? Let's see. Someone say, can my brother get admission for economics in master's degree in Canada? Yes, your brother can. Olusegun, your brother can. Somebody said, is the supervisor that you are talking about, is it the one to supervise you at the level of PhD? Yeah, but they're also the one that pay for your school fees. Okay? Someone say, can PhD graduate go for PhD? Yeah, you can. But be sure you know why you are going there. Yes, you can. There are a lot of PhD management and all those kind of stuff. Let's see. Can I have my master's in geography and environmental management? Yes. What's the question? Vivian, what's your question? I'm looking for questions that are relevant to what we are doing. Angela! Angela! I can see my... Okay. Can I do my PhD with awaiting master's result? I will defend my master's in November. Yes, you can. Because by now you should have gotten your transcript and you have your BSc transcript. You can. This is from Nelly. You can do your PhD you can start your process, because let's say if you apply for PhD now, you're going to be applying for PhD that is starting in, if you're going for PhD, roughly you want to plan for 12 months in advance. There is a chance that within the first 6 months that your awaiting results will be released, right? But you're looking for a PhD starting 12 months in advance. Like 12 months from today that you're watching this video, whatever that day may be. So what you now see is that before that time, your certificate will have come out. But if you wait for your certificate to come out before you start, what kind of strategy is that? Right? Let's see more questions. More questions. Tony said, I have an MBA and I want to do PhD, but I don't have GMAT. So now the question is, do you want to do GMAT? It's one of two things. Yes, no, right? Because you're talking about PhD in a management course. A lot of schools will ask you for GMAT, even if you can get waiver, right? But at least a lot of schools will ask you for it. Number one, you can get waiver. Number two, the question is, why are you going for PhD in MBA, like in business administration? Is that your only choice? Before during this training, I talked about alternatives. That even though you have masters and you want to do PhD, okay, that you have to know that PhD is not your only choice. You can do another master's. You can do a PGD, right? So let's say I am Tony and I have MBA and I want to do PhD, but all the schools in the whole world, which is not likely, all the schools in the whole world ask me to submit GMAT. I don't want GMAT. Why not I choose another master's that does not require GMAT? Why not I choose a PGD for specialization, which I know 100% sure will not require GMAT? You see? These are options. So imagine now you now say, I don't want to write GMAT. Which equally means I don't want to apply for school. So what's the strategy there? Tony, what's your strategy? Tell me. What's your strategy? Sit and wait. Is that a strategy? What's your strategy? Type, comment. Tell me, what's your strategy, Tony? Somebody say, do you assist people to get loan to fund their graduate program in the US? We show you how to get loan by yourself. We show you how to get study loan by yourself. We show you. Kayode, we show you how to get study loan by yourself so that you can fund your program, if that is what you want. But if you are going for PhD, don't take any stupid loan. Please, I beg you. If you are going for PhD, if you cannot get fully funded program, forget it. Go and apply for something else. Because PhD is 3 to 5 years. You want to take loan. Do you know the amount of loan you will need? Maybe before you finish the PhD, you have $500 or $200,000 in loan. You have not even started working. How do you want to do that? Don't use loan for PhD. If you don't get fully funded PhD, even if you want to take loan for masters. 2 years, you are out. 1 year, you are out. 1.5 years, you are out. The money you will spend will be small. So that as soon as you start working, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you will have finished paying the loan. You can't take 4 years loan. You want to mortgage your future. Yeah, it's like going to now take loan to be working in a place. Think. Like the way this world is now, you are working in a place, you are not getting paid though. Now you went to go and collect loan to be funding your life while you are working in a place. Does it make sense? Please, anybody listening to me, this thing I'm saying, now this thing I'm explaining, does it make sense that somebody will go and collect loan to go and work in a place for 4 years? It does not make sense. To me, maybe to you it makes sense. If it makes sense to you, go and do it. It does not make sense to me. Okay? Okay, so let's see more questions. Okay, so I want to apply for PhD for the purpose of family relocation. Can my spouse apply for an MSc too? What would you suggest? Yeah, you can. Your spouse can apply for MSc. And both of you can even apply. If the admissions come, then you make a choice. Imagine that your spouse apply for MSc, you apply for PhD, right? At the end, admissions come. You make a selection. You know? Let's see. Someone said, Shiori says, is it important to have a supervisor before PhD application? Learn how it works. Attend the free webinar. Start from there. www.vantagemigration.ca, so that you actually learn how it works and you proceed. You'll be able to be seeing things as we are talking about them. You'll be able to ask more questions. All right? Someone said BSc in geography and something subject. Am I eligible to do PhD in blah blah blah? If you can do PhD with BSc, especially if you are going to US, but advisable for you to do your master's and then move to PhD. Because if you are aiming for a PhD with BSc, you are going to have a lot of hurdles to climb, right? It's up to you if that's what you want to do, but it may just make sense. There's even this one they call fast track, where you start a master's, but 8 months into the master's, you proceed to PhD. You know, it doesn't mean it's impossible to get PhD with BSc. You can, but you have to think twice. Preferably, don't make it your only option. Apply for some masters, apply for some PhD, so that for that year, you don't have to stay at home 1 more year just because it didn't work out. Okay? Let's look more questions. More PhD questions. More PhD questions. More PhD questions. PhD questions. PhD questions. Oh yeah, drop more questions. I will conclude my master's in education in December. Is it advisable to start my PhD application now? Yes. Yes, because it's master's you are doing. Yes, because you can apply with awaiting results. That's number one. At least you also already have your BSc transcript that you can get. Even if you don't have it handy, you can get it. So that's another thing. Number two, you'll be applying for, or number three, you'll be applying for PhD starting, let's say for you now, you'll be applying for PhD starting next year, September. Okay? So that means you can start. You can start now so that you buy time. Because like when it is difficult to start is when your PhD will begin before your master's end. Begin. I don't mean the application process. But provided that your program is going to end before the other program starts, you don't have a problem. If you don't start, what is going to happen is that you are going to pass the application period. You are going to start next year against next 2 years, September. Do you see? So the question for you is, what do you want? Next 2 years or next year? If it's next year, you have to start now. Okay? Patience. Let's see more questions. More questions. More questions. Yes, I'm looking for a question that is relevant. Okay. Let's see. I'm looking for questions that are relevant. Okay, I think all the questions are done. All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I want to say to you, number one, I already showed you this. You can attend the free study abroad webinar at www.vantagemigration.ca. Okay, www.vantagemigration.ca. You can also take a screenshot. Right now, after attending the webinar, if you have more questions, chat me on Instagram at Dr. Linda Iheme. All right, at Dr. Linda Iheme, chat us and ask us any question you have. Inbox, we'll be able to direct you. But preferably, attend the webinar first before chatting us on Instagram inbox. Before chatting us inbox on Instagram, so that it's like, we are only going to be responding to questions that will not be handled or was not handled or clarified at the webinar. But if you come to chat us and you have not completed the webinar, we are going to send you back to the webinar as the first step. All right? As the first step. So, my dear, I want you to know that if you are going for PhD, it is a worthy course. In this video, we have talked about people who can do PhD, who should do PhD, alternatives to doing PhD, including your spouse being an alternative, right? And we also mentioned that you can use PhD as a way to relocate with your family, right? And please don't apply for a PhD. Don't go for a PhD that is not funded. Don't ever feel stuck if one way is not working. You can always check another way. All right. Then we explain to you that we work with people going for their PhD. We work with them. If you're a PhD graduate, we don't work with you. If you are going for, let's say you're going for postdoc, we don't work with you. We work with people going for PhD. We show you how to go about the process. All the special documents you need, special things you need to do, you will learn how to do them at Vantage Migration, right? So, you are blessed to have this opportunity, I'm telling you, because there are so many people out there who want to do PhD, who don't know how to go about it, and they don't even know that we exist. But you that know that we exist, you are blessed. So what I'm going to ask you to do for me today is, did you enjoy this video? If you're a PhD candidate or someone that wants to do PhD, you can follow the instructions given on this video. But if you're not someone that wants to do PhD, but you have friends that want to do PhD abroad, you have colleagues that they finished their masters, they are thinking of doing PhD abroad, please copy the link to this video and send it to them via WhatsApp. Copy the link to this video and send it to them via WhatsApp, because they need this information in order to know exactly what to do. Because sometimes in life we are all there, you know, like we want to do something but we don't even know the way forward. If you can help that person by showing them the where to get the information, you are the hero. You are their destiny helper, right? And you know, once they say give, it shall be given unto you, full measure, pressed down, shaking together, running over. Is it not? So that one day too, somebody will see information that will help you in your life, and they will send you the information. Wouldn't you be happy for something like that? I believe you will be happy. See, if you will be sad if somebody contacts you with the right information to help your life, if you will be sad, please don't send anybody this link, because it's not me that wants to change your mind. All right, take good care of yourself till I see you again. All right.